I started volunteering at Jessica's house after my own family experienced the loss of a loved one that was quite tragic and it was a fairly young person. And I saw how there was at that time a lack of hospice care in our area. And Jessica's house opened like literally a month and a half later. And I came and did the tour, and I just knew there was something special that families can benefit from. And so I was really drawn to just be part of that. And it takes a whole community to make a project like this work. And I wanted to be part of that. I've had lots of different roles at Jessica's house, and it's kind of morphed and changed over the years, generally based on the time that I have available to volunteer. So I started as an in-house volunteer, and I still do that from time to time. My job is quite seasonal, so sometimes the hours I have available for volunteering are minimal, and sometimes there's more. So my time in the house changes seasonally. I've helped with lots of things in the house, from basic cleaning tasks, some food prep, which is pretty minimal. It's usually scrambled eggs, soup, toast, that sort of thing. So it's not about my culinary skills. But most of the time is actually just spent visiting with residents and their families, and just really celebrating the lives of their loved ones, which is probably one of my favorite parts. Sometimes it's just sitting and reading a book or knitting while I greet people at the door and welcome them and make them feel comfortable. And sometimes it's a more hands-on approach, but it really just depends on what I'm comfortable with and who the nursing staff is and what their need is for help. In the summertime, I also help with Jessica's House Gardens, and that's a really neat way for volunteers to get involved who maybe aren't comfortable in the house. There's expansive gardens here that take a fair bit of maintenance. It's not hard work. It's mostly deadheading and weeding, so if you've got any interest in gardening, it's not hard to do. There's also, I know, volunteers who mow the lawn and do all kinds of things, and there's just so many different ways to help out at Jessica's house that can meet anybody's level of volunteering. One thing that I would definitely tell you is the time you give at Jessica's house comes back to you in ways that you can't even imagine. There's just this sense of gratitude and appreciation for life, for health, for your family, for just a community of volunteers who give so much. It just is really, I always feel so grateful after I leave here for the opportunity just to share stories with people. It's really neat when you can take a moment to maybe sit with somebody, a family, and they get the chance to share about the story of somebody that they love. And you know, when you're getting to the end of days, it's nice to remember those happy memories and the fun times you had as a family, or maybe a trip that was taken, things like that. So those are probably some of my favorite things about volunteering here. It doesn't happen always, obviously, but once in a while you get that special moment where you feel like you really learned something about the person who's there and just about the awesome life that they've had. Volunteering here is really hopeful. I think that a lot of people think of hospice as such a sad place, and that totally has not been my experience. It's not really a sense of hope, but you get to see the love that people have for each other in their families, and it's an uplifting experience, actually, which I think is probably counterintuitive to what most people think of, because you know you're caring for people at the end of their life. But it is a very, maybe inspiring is a better word than hopeful. I'm not really sure, but it's so hard to articulate because it is a real mixed bag of emotions, but it has definitely had a positive impact on my life. And I think it's also important for people to know you're never asked to do something that you're not comfortable with. If you aren't comfortable helping to care for a resident directly hands-on, that's okay. That doesn't have to be what you do here. There's so many different ways that you can help out that Jessica's house and the staff here really meets people where they are as far as volunteers, and they will use the skills and the comfort that you have in working in the house. And if something's not in your comfort, then that's okay too. And you just give what you can. I tried to think back to a particular experience, and they kind of all blend together because it's just they have all kind of blended together. But an overarching theme that I've experienced in talking with families is just the way that we as volunteers and the nursing staff do a great job of this at Jessica's house, is celebrating the life of the loved one. It's, talking about with their hobbies and their passions and the things they did when they were younger and the places they went as a family, and just kind of getting to know who that person is. Because I mean, sometimes you're helping with patients who are maybe responsive, but you know they're still there. And so it's great to hear and share stories of what they were like and the wonderful life that they did lead. And yeah, I would say that's probably, it's an overarching just celebration of life for everybody that comes through Jessica's House doors.